gonna put your hands in it.
100%. Hey guys, and welcome back to the High Level Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us again this year, this Happy New Year. We've taken a break for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit past New Year's, isn't
Guys,
it?
we fell a bit off the wagon, but we're back.
Yeah.
We've got some New Year's resolutions, and we're ready to go.
Yeah,
Right?
we had a good rest over
rest,
over
100%.
December, and now we are here.
And now we're here. So guys, if you are joining for the first time, this is the High Level Podcast. We talk about all things engineering, and our main goal is to make the world a better, cooler, more sustainable place. We are two mechanical engineers. I'm your host, Mr. Jonathan Dalport, and I'm joined as always by my beautiful co-host, Mr. Damon Hunselaar. How are you this 2025, Mr. Hunselaar?
You really think I'm beautiful?
Yeah, man, 100%.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
Beautiful,
I'm doing
man.
good. I'm doing good. I am now betrothed.
You are betrothed,
Well,
that is true.
Does the betrothed mean you're already married?
I would say you're betrothed. Pre-betrothed?
I mean, I've started the process, but
You
we're
started
not,
the process, yes.
I'm engaged
He is
to a beautiful woman.
to a beautiful, lovely woman, and it was done overseas, even.
Indeed.
Yes, because he doesn't like South Africa.
I like to go big.
Oh, you like to go big or go home?
Yeah.
So yes, guys, we want to say Happy New Year, firstly. This is going to be a pretty informal episode to start the year off. It's not going to be very engineering-y. We're going to talk you guys a bit through what we've learned a bit from last year, what we're looking at in the future, and a little bit of engineering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiny bit. We thought
Tiny bit. We thought it is an engineering podcast, so let's do a bit of engineering. But that's it, guys. So I think let's get into the first part of the episode. And for those who don't know, we did make it very public. But we did the Soweto Marathon last year. That was October,
Yeah,
November.
no, it was 3 November.
3 November. Oh, flip, you even remember the day. Are you scarred a little bit?
I mean, yeah, scarred's a word. It's one of the words.
It's a word. So we did the Soweto Marathon 3 November, and it was a toughie. It was a definite toughie, and we thought we would go through a few of the things we learned and maybe some of the things we're taking into the new year, because we are changed men now. We are better than the average bear now. So
Yeah.
we thought we would share it with you guys. Hopefully you guys can learn something from that, take it into 2025, and we can
Interesting
move
question
on.
for you, Mr. Dalport.
Yes.
How long does it take for an average person to run a marathon?
An average person to run a marathon, I would think.
Trick question. Average people don't run marathons.
I was actually going to guess. I really wonder what the average time is. 5 hours?
It's 4 hours,
6
30 minutes.
Is it 4 hours, 30 minutes? For the average person.
For the average person.
So we're below average. Is that what we're saying?
Average people don't run
Oh,
marathons.
the average people don't run marathons.
That's a subset. We're looking at like globally.
Okay, globally.
I said
okay.
the average person, not the average marathon
The
runner.
average marathon runner. All right, guys. So I'll jump into it. First lesson I took away from Soweto was sometimes things don't go your way. I think we'll put cards on the table here. This was a tough race. Like, it didn't go. It's okay. I won't speak for you. Didn't go any way I thought it would go for me. I was severely disappointed in it. Learned quite a bit. I don't know how for you, summary, did it go the way you thought it would go?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Are you having a little bit of a trauma response?
little bit
there?
like-
A little bit, yeah.
Had
So,
to recess a bit there.
Yeah, for me, it didn't go the way I wanted to, and that's life. Sometimes things just don't go the way you want. You know, like as much as you try, and we prepared a sufficient amount, I would say. For you're a bit up and down.
Yeah.
But sometimes things just don't go your way. So at about 20 Ks, so for anyone who doesn't know, a full marathon is 42.2 kilometers. It's a long way.
Yeah, I know it's far.
At about 20 kilometers in, my foot failed. So I left you around 15-ish.
Yeah, around
Right?
15 there.
So we separated there. I wanted to make a comrades qualifier. Didn't get to do that, spoiler alert. But about 20 kilometers in, my foot, I don't know what happened. I went to the bio afterwards to young Daney boy.
Shout out to Dane.
Shout out to Dane. Had a little bit of a crack, a little stress fracture in the foot. And that was about 20
Just
Ks.
a little.
Just a little one. And I had to continue to run the last 20 kilometers to get to the finish line because I wasn't going to stop. 100% not.
Yeah.
100% not.
It's like, and at that point, there's no use turning around because it's just,
What are you going to do?
it's as far to the beginning as you are today.
So might as well.
Might as well
You
just
might as well.
push through.
So yeah, this brings me to a quote I found. It's from Paul Waterson. And it says, "I know the world isn't unfair, but can't it be unfair in my favor?" So I feel like we've had a lot of that lately, eh? Like things just don't seem to be going our way, and that's life. And I think I've come to accept that, and I've grown as a person, and this race taught me that. So that was one of my first lessons. What was one of your first lessons?
I would say my first lesson is like, don't do things alone, man. Like in the beginning of the race, we ran together. And at some point you decided you wanted to push a bit harder than me. So Jonathan's, what was your goal again? Sub 4 hour.
Well, so Comrades qualifier was 4:50, but I was going for a 4 hour on the dot.
So I thought to myself, well, look, it would be nice to qualify for Comrades, but my main goal was to finish.
Yeah.
And I would say that the biggest thing I took was don't do it alone, because there was a stretch where I was alone for a lot of the time. And at some point I decided to join one of the pacing groups. And I don't know, just the vibe of the people were there. Everyone was lacquered. The pacer, she was amazing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like it gave me the support I needed to get through the rest of the race. And yeah, so I would say first thing is don't do things alone. Life is difficult when you're alone.
Yeah,
but if you're not
100%.
alone, then it makes it a bit easier.
Especially in running where there's the long stretches where you're by yourself. Then you get in your head.
Yeah.
And
when you see a long straight road in front of you,
Oh.
and I have recent experience with this because we just had a run, and you see how far you have, then you get that like movie scene thing in your head where it just like zooms out like further. So yeah, no, it's
a tough one.
It's tough. But when you're with people, then you're just having a good
It's
time.
great, yeah. So I think for me, the second thing I took away was in the lead up to this race, we were chatting. There's one of the guys at our office here, Johan, and he was quite an avid runner when he was young. And we obviously had a few things because he did the Comrades like 7 or 8 times. So he's an experienced runner. So we were just like, yo, you have any tips or anything you want to share with us or whatever? And he gave us a few tips and a few life lessons. But I think the thing for me that was the wildest was now where he sits, and he's not too old, but like his health just won't let him run anymore, And I could see when we started the run club 1 or 2 years ago, somewhere there, he you can see he would love to run if he could, but he just can't. Yeah. And that for me,
it's
breaks your heart, man. Breaks your heart. So I think for me, like nothing's for granted. Do all the things you can, especially while you're young. Especially now with like Jabu, we have a young engineer as well. I tell him, just go try things, man. Just go do it.
Yeah. You're young, you have energy. Breathing is still easy for you.
You see, just carry on. I got another quote for you, yeah, because I like quotes. It's from Bear Grylls. And he said, Old Bear, little Bear, have, what was her name who peed on his hand?
One of the Spice Girls. That was messed up.
I forget her name now. Anyway, so sorry, from Bear Grylls, when he wasn't being peed on, he said, you only get one chance at life and you have to grab it boldly. And I think that's true, man. We're still young. We can still recover. Yeah. I've recovered my foot now.
Yeah.
Is your foot recovered?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, we're young, we can bounce back. So yeah, even if things are a bit suffering in the time, it's usually worth it at the end. So that's my lesson number 2.
Yeah. My lesson number 2 is 42.2 kilometers is far.
Really?
It is far.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the furthest I had run before the marathon was about 30 kilometers. And I was like, while we were training. And I thought, well, an extra 12.2 isn't going to be too bad. And, I'm going to be feeling the vibe of the day. I'll prepare better. I'll have the food. I'll sleep better. Didn't sleep better. And I thought, extra 12.2, it's not going to be that far. And you know what? It was far. And like, this reminds me of a quote I saw somewhere on the internet that once you reach 30 Ks in a marathon, you've reached the halfway point, because those last few kilometers really do feel like
death.
You just want to finish. But yeah, overall, I eventually finished. So yeah, and that was
it's just a very far distance.
Yeah, if you're thinking of doing a marathon, highly recommend. Like, I think even if you do it like once in your life, just to be able to brag to your family and say, I did this.
Did it? Because you still get props now.
I still get props,
right?
like, yeah.
Because not a lot of people do it, believe it or not. We talk about it because and we get jealous of other people who are doing so many.
But and there are people that are way better than us.
Yeah, most people will never ever come close. Maybe a park run in their life.
Yeah.
No one's getting near to that. So yeah, 100%. I think then for me, the third one, this was probably my biggest learning from the day. And it's basically that you need to adjust your goals based on your circumstances. Sometimes, like I said, things don't go your way, but also you need to be able to adjust at that point when you get there, right? So I had a very tough race. I had a soul breaker. I wanted to use Soweto as my qualifier for Comrades Now 2025. So I had my heart set on at least a Comrades qualifier, but I had a bigger goal of a sub 4-hour marathon. And I was trained and I was ready and I could do it in my training. I was pretty happy with how it was going. But man, I had to watch those goals disappear in front of me, not because I hadn't trained or I hadn't prepared well, simply because my body gave out. Like, it was done. And, you know, I had to adjust and be like, okay, now I need to walk in and try and enjoy the race and just at least finish the race. And I remember at 38 kilometers, so 4Ks away, you see, and those 4Ks were tough. I remember seeing the 450, the comrades qualifier disappear. Yes, a little bit of crying, I won't lie to you. A little bit of man tears coming out, but had to adjust. And like after about 40Ks, I had accepted like, okay, this is done. And I sort of tried to watch everyone finishing and try and enjoy the moment. And then we waited for you when you finished. And that was a great memory for me, you know, and I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
So yeah, adjust your goals based on where you are in life, basically.
I would say then for me, my third lesson would be preparation is important.
100%.
And yeah, also a marathon has a way of like making a small problem a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Because I think I started with just a slight pain in my foot. Just a slight
Just
one.
a small one.
And I was like, you know what, it's not too bad when I run, it's not too bad. I thought, yeah, I'll warm up and it will be fine. And it was not fun. My foot was quite sore. I also got a foot, not as bad as yours though.
Yeah, but it was still tough.
But yeah, no, like it got to a point where like it's not that like I was out of breath or that tired. It's just that like it was physically painful to step. Yeah. And I got such bad blisters as well. Yeah.
So how would you have prepared for that?
Just more strength training. I think I focused a lot on just getting the kilometers in because like prior to last year, like I think the furthest I had run was 9 kilometers. Like in one go.
Yeah.
And like so my whole training was just like I gotta get the kilometers in, which I think was probably the best thing I could have done. But I think it would have been better to also include more strength in there. And yeah, so now I'm adding a bit more strength into my routine and yeah.
You know, trying your best. Still probably not enough.
Obviously not enough. That's a given.
This is us. I think we fell into that trap, and I feel like all new runners fall into that trap. And we could have just Googled it to not fall into the trap. Like you think you just got to get the mileage up, and then you'll be ready for the marathon. But strength is so important. 100% so important. It's the thing that screwed us up so many times now, is having weak muscles or a weak tendon or whatever.
Yeah.
100%. All right, my final one, a bit of a funner one, is wear sunscreen. I got fucked, man. Yeah, proper.
I was prepared that day.
You were very prepared. I was fucked, man. And you even had the bucket hat.
Yeah, no, I bought myself a genuine, authentic Coach Parry hat.
Bucket hat.
I had the neck buffer around there.
Yeah.
I bathed in sunscreen. Oh. So yeah, I didn't burn that day.
Jealous, man.
But sure.
So I was burnt for a month, man.
It was hot. Hey?
It was when Jen looked at me afterwards, like a week later, my skin looked like plastic. It didn't even peel. I don't know. I can't explain it to you. It looked like plastic. So wear sunscreen, boys and girls. It's important. This is a public service announcement.
Did you get blisters?
Yes. It was terrible.
You want to know a scary statistic? I don't know if it's true, but it's scary.
No, I don't want to hear. Okay, tell me.
Okay. If you get sunburn that's bad enough to give you blisters, it increases your chances of getting cancer by like 30%.
I reject that.
I don't know if it's true.
I will run it off.
But there's something like that.
I will run it off. Yeah. 100%. All right, guys.
I do have a final.
You have a final one?
I have a final lesson. I just don't know how to phrase it, but I think I know how to phrase it. It's difficult to finish things. It is. Yeah. But it's more difficult if you don't start. Because, like, to make the decision to do the marathon was tough. It's mentally taxing. And once you commit to it, like, it kind of, I had dreams about it. Like, I think I mentioned before. I had dreams about running it and not being prepared and whatever. But, like, while I was running, even though it was one of the most like physically demanding things I've ever done in my life, at not one point did I think I want to give up. I mean, I definitely thought I want this to be over.
It was close,
but I didn't think. But I thought I want this to be over, as in I want to cross that finish line.
Yeah.
And like the closer I got to the finish line, especially like the last 5 kilometers, even though I was walking whatever, like, and I still remember like, eventually like I lost steam, and then the pacing group I was with went ahead, but I saw one of the other guys, and like, well, props to him. Like, he was a big oak, but like he ran and he also finished because I met him just at the finish line. I passed him, and I said to him like, "Come on, man, let's just run this last bit." And he was like, "No, his feet are messed up."
Oh.
And you know what? But he still finished.
Yeah.
And I managed just to run that last 200 meters. You know,
just a little bit ahead of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was happy to do it. I think afterwards I was just like, I just want to sit.
Just let's go home now.
I think Alette had to drive the car to the entrance, and she had to help me get there. My legs were just broken. Like
And the
my legs
foot
were
was
like,
broken
you
now."
asked me for this, you got it, but now we're done.
No. Fair enough. So overall, I think Soweto was a good learning curve. Not our best race by any means, but a good one.
It was my best race because it was my first.
It was your
one.
only race,
Yeah.
best and worst.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And yeah, good vibes for 2025 races, please. 2025's our year, man. We've learned the lessons now. Can we apply them? Mr. Hunselaar?
That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm in a lot of pain, but thank you for pushing me to improve myself.
Nice, man.
Until next time.
Until next time.
But for now, I'm gonna go home, have a cry, have a nap, have a bath.
How's that nice week?
It smacks.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, now we're going to head into the actual the stuff you guys are here for.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of engineering for you guys, a few reckless predictions, engineering reckless predictions for 2025. So basically, we're going to make a prediction here that we feel that we are qualified to make. And then in 2026, when we come back and do an episode like this, we'll revisit them and see how accurate we were. Do you want to kick us off, Mr. Hunselaar?
Sure, I
Please.
will.
Your first reckless prediction for 2025.
Yeah. So, I would say my first one is that Germany will at least reopen discussions about recommissioning some of its nuclear plants.
Oh my.
Because they had decided to shut down every single one of their nuclear plants. And right now, Germany's in a bit of an energy crisis.
Yeah.
And they're buying power now from France, who heavily relies on nuclear energy. And there's a lot of politics in Germany, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like everything is like, especially where we were in Berlin, it's like this I legit saw, sorry, I'm sidetracked.
No,
but it's funny. So we were walking in where the Brandenburg Gate is.
Yeah.
And like on one of the signs, there was a sticker, and it was legit like the government's trying to put RFID sensors inside of you and trying to control you. They're tracking everywhere you're going. And then Ian and I, we were still laughing, and we're like, they can already do that with your phone.
Yeah.
They don't need to put in they don't need an RFID chip to do this already.
Nice.
And then like second thing is the picture on there was just a barcode that you see like on
You joking?
like that you scan at the shop. So it wasn't even an RFID tag.
Oh my god.
So I was like, that just invalidates your
just-
whole argument, even though your argument wasn't valid in the first place.
Definitely not valid.
So yeah,
now.
first prediction: Germany will start looking at opening their power plants again, the nuclear ones.
Oh man, do you think so? I think it's tough. You know what I actually
They
heard?
might not have a choice, eh?
I listened to a podcast the other day. I will find the link for you. It was basically, have you looked at the age of France's nuclear plants in general?
I have not.
So interesting, and I don't know how this will play out, but a lot of them, I don't think there's one nuclear plant under the age of 40, which is when you need to start looking at decommissioning. So they're going to have, and not a lot being built. So I'll get you the podcast again. I don't want to say things that I'm not sure of, but very, very interesting stuff. We can do an episode on that maybe. That could be an interesting one. Because France is the nuclear powerhouse, literally, of Europe. Like they are the OGs, right? Okay, my first reckless prediction is going to be this. We will see solid-state batteries in 2025. I don't know where they'll be. I know this has been like the holy grail and stuff. I truly think it's going to be in a small consumer device. I don't think a phone, maybe a phone. I don't know, like a Xiaomi. I think it will be something Chinese, but maybe like a watch or a small vacuum cleaner or something. But there will be a solid-state battery that if you're really committed to, you can buy on Amazon or something in the market for consumers 2025.
That would be cool, man.
That would be right.
That'd be cool.
I'm telling you, man.
That'd be
it's coming.
that will be like seriously what a time to be alive.
You know?
kind of moment.
And this is like sort of like it could happen, couldn't happen. So it's my I don't know how to explain it, but like it's there on the edge, man. I'm there. What's your next one?
My next one it's a positive one. I think we'll really start seeing South Africa's railways start like working again.
Oh, a little Transnet action.
And the reason why I say this is because in Europe, everything is like their train systems work so well. And on my honestly, one of the first weeks I was back, then I was driving to my mom's, and there used to be a rail line there.
Yeah,
and then during COVID, like everything shut down, and I saw a train, and it looked pretty new. It looked pretty nice. I saw it running, and I even got excited. I was like, "Oh, look, a train!" And yeah, so that gave me a lot of confidence that I really think we'll start seeing SA's railway system like being built up.
I think, from the stuff we've been seeing in the last year, I think Transnet's going in a direction. I don't know if it's the right direction, but I'm hopeful, man. They hold so much potential for South Africa. I really hope so. Then for me, not a nice one, but I think we'll see D-Day in Johannesburg in 2025. So water D-Day, like we had in Cape Town a few years ago. I'm not going to say that. I think it's highly likely we see a water crisis in Joburg where no water for more than a week D-Day.
Did you hear what happened like in Joburg with the water just before I left?
What happened? Which part?
It was like, I think the Ikuruleni pumps.
Yeah.
They were down for 4 days.
Oh yeah, wasn't it? Yeah,
but it was
one of the pump
maintenance.
stations. Yeah.
So I don't fully understand. They had to do something about because they have 3 pumps.
Yeah.
And then there's 3. I think it's 3 engines that run them. And from the things I saw, obviously they never released exactly what they did. They said that the way it's set up now was never designed to cater to this many people.
Yeah.
And now they need to do it to make it more flexible. So what it sounds to me like they're interlocked, whereas in like if 2 pumps are running, the third one can't. So they had to change it so that all 3 can run independently.
Okay, got you.
I don't know if that's the case.
I don't
know what they actually did. All I know is the water was off for 4 days.
Quite a while.
And it was rough.
I don't know, for us, we weren't affected. So there's obviously certain areas.
So yeah,
but,
I mean, we basically ran to the farm for a few days because the water was... the father-in-law has a
nice little borehole.
Yeah, a nice borehole, so we had water. But no, it's rough. People couldn't flush their toilets for 4 days. And like, like a day... I can understand a day, like you can make a plan for a day.
You plan for it.
You only you only technically need to poop once a day. But
and then poop at work. Come on.
Yeah, then you poop at work. But like for 4 days, like honestly, if you are holding it in for 4 days, see a doctor. So I know it's rough. It's rough.
No, man. For me, the water in Gauteng is so mismanaged. We can say South Africa, but because I live here, it's so bad. I mean, we've been through the Blue Drop report, and it's actually making me a bit upset now. It's so bad that half the water's lost. If it was me, if I was Rand Water, I would make D-Day happen. I would say, you Oaks, honestly, if you're not going to fix it, we're going to close it until you fix it type of thing. Because it's literally water running into the ground that they purify, and then municipalities don't pay them and don't fix the infrastructure. Come on. Anyway. A little bit of heartache there. And that's our Wreckless predictions for 2025. Like I said, we'll revisit them back in 2026. Let's see what comes true, what doesn't, what gets close, what doesn't. All right, fair enough. Mr. Hunselaar, do you have any recommendations for the new year?
Any recommendations?
Any recommendations? And I hope you're not going to use the one I'm going to use. Okay, can I get to it first?
Okay, yeah, you can say it first.
Okay, so we have been not studying, but we have been talking a lot about the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. Right? Yeah. This is the thing I'm dedicating quite a bit of time to this year, studying it, trying to understand. And the more we read about it and understand it, the more you see it everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere with everyone, no matter what. And it's part of the book, right? You can pretend they don't exist.
But they are there.
And you won't win. Or you can understand them and play the game. So 48 Laws of Power, going through it. There's actually a PDF version online. You can get it for free if you really want.
I mean, on Spotify, the whole audio book is there. So I mean, like it's very accessible as well.
So that's my book for the year. I've decided I don't care for these whole.
Where do you think the book was written? Do you know?
When? It was early 2000s?
No, it was written in 1998, I think.
1998. Okay, I was close.
Yeah.
Give me that one. I was close, man.
I'll give it to you.
Okay.
4 years. What's 4 years between friends?
What's 4 years between friends? All right. You, Mr. Hunselaar?
I will say my recommendation. It's a series I watched.
Okay.
It's called The Gentleman.
Okay, yes.
It's quite good. It's like
what's the premise?
In the United Kingdom. So the premise is there's this guy, and he lives in UK, and he was part of the army or whatever the army is called, and his dad dies, and his dad was like a duke.
Okay.
So his dad names him as the duke now.
Okay.
And essentially, it turns out that like there's a weed growing operation on his property run by like this massive like cartel, and he starts getting involved with them, and he's like, no, well, actually, I want you off my property, but obviously I understand that that's not good for you. You're business people, you just want money, so to make the deal work for you guys, I'm gonna help you make more money.
Ah,
So he starts getting involved in their operations, and then like you kind of slowly see how he actually enjoys being a part of it.
nice.
So it's like it's pretty good, and it's quite funny.
Okay,
It's quite funny as well.
very nice. You want to guess what the Rotten Tomatoes is?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. So the popcorn meter, which is the audience, 85%, and critics 75. So
Sure, solid. Like in the I was
solid,
there.
man. That's flipping good, eh? Okay, sweet. I will definitely add it to the list. Is that all from you, Mr. Hunselaar, for 2025?
Yeah.
Is that all? All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us again for this first episode of 2025. We appreciate you guys. If you guys want to reach out to us, it's highlevelpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find us on YouTube and Instagram, it's @highlevelpodcast. Please, guys, subscribe to us. It helps us as much as we can. We post. If my dear co-host would... He's got New Year's resolutions and KPIs this year. So hopefully... KPIs even. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. Really, really appreciate you. And we hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed 2025.
Have a lekker one. It's a new year, me. As you can see, my beautiful co-host over there has grown a fancy mustache.
Right? I think it's working, man.
Yeah,
I get,
it takes a bit of getting used to.
Is it? I get a 50-50 like response.
I don't know. But you see, that's why you need that. You need something that's different about you.
Gives me a bit of edge.